Okay, good afternoon. My name is Ronaldo Hilton, the chairperson designee of the New York City Loft Board. Welcome to our December 28, 2017 public meeting. I want to thank you for braving the elements that came out. And first we'll turn our attention to the vote for the November 16th minutes of meeting. Are there any corrections or comments to these minutes? If there are none, then would we have a motion to accept these minutes? Okay. Yep. Thank you, Mr. Barnes. A second. Mr. Carl. Mr. Rivera.
Mr. Crawford.
Yes.
Mr. Barber.
Yes.
Mr. Bush.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Abstaining.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Mr. Rajactor.
Abstaining.
Chairperson Hilton.
Yes.
5 in favor, 2 abstain.
Thank you, Mr. Rivera. So next we turn to a vote of the November 30th public meeting. Are there any corrections or comments to these minutes? Yes. Mr. Delaney.
Just a couple of corrections and a comment or two. On page 4, first paragraph, we have 53 Pearl Street, identified as Peel Street, PEAL. Page 6, where we're discussing the Saladino case. Third big paragraph there. It's the one, so it's like the fourth sentence says, and Mr. Roche is in favor or a broader coverage. I presume that's intended to be for a broader coverage. I just have the feeling this minute's may be read by various people, so the clearer they could be. Paragraph, page 7, second paragraph, second sentence, I stated I would like, a month ago, he, in this case, gives Judge Lewis and staff gives. Okay, I didn't hear you, sorry. Just make it a verb agreement. Right. Oh, okay. That's all.
Thank you. Let me just check to see what we can do with this platform. Any more corrections, or is there any more? Is there no corrections in the minutes? None? With those corrections, as Mr. Delaney pointed out, is there a motion to accept these minutes? Mr. Carver, thank you. Any second? Okay, Mr. Hernandez. Thank you, Mr. Rivera.
Mr. Crawford.
Yes.
Mr. Barber.
Yes.
Mr. Bush.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. Delaney.
Yes.
Mr. Shachter. Chairperson Hilton.
Yes.
6 in favor, 1 abstain.
Thank you, Mr. Rivera. Okay, Ms. Balsam will now give her executive director report.
Good afternoon. In terms of statistics, I've decided to spare everyone the statistics and we'll report on them next month when we will have actually a whole year-end presentation with all of the bells and whistles.
Is that next month?
That is next month in January. The board members received, and I'll show it to the public, we have designed a new lobby sign. As you know, the Loft Board rules require owners to post in the lobby a sign that has information on it. It's been brought to our attention that those signs are probably not posted. I took a look at the sign. I was not happy with how it looked, so we kind of made it more intuitive. And our intention is to send out a notice with a copy of this sign to all of the owners of the building early next year to give them a certain amount of time to post it, probably 30 days, and then send out our inspector to do some sweeps in neighborhoods to see whether or not the signs are posted. So hopefully this will be helpful to the people that live in the building. It does give them contact information. And also for people that may be in the building that don't realize that the building is under the jurisdiction of the Loft Board, this should put them on notice if the sign is posted. So that's our plan for that.
And I think we can also discuss any kind of rule change to make it clear as to where these notices will be posted. I think in the rule right now.
Right now, it just says the lobby, and I guess there's a question about whether or not Raymond is a lobby.
Right, so we could probably, in our rule, as we look at rule changes, we could probably look at clarifying that and make it more clear as to where and how we want to see these. I would like to see these in a frame, for example, instead of just pasted on the wall, so it looks more official as so people can pay more attention.
Okay, in terms of mapping, we're still working on the mapping, so we haven't forgotten about it. The person who does the mapping, Mr. Lamo, who is here, is very busy, so we're trying to get some of his time, and hopefully we will have that on the website early next year. And then finally, in terms of the failure to register cases, a question arose about imposing fines on owners who paid after the cure period in the notices that we send, but prior to the board meeting. And for now, we're maintaining our status quo, which is to withdraw those cases where they have paid in that interim period. But as we move forward with the rulemaking, we may want to think about whether or not that's the right way to go, and perhaps impose a mitigated penalty for the people that pay after the time period, after the cure period, but before the meeting. So I'm just throwing that out there for the board members to think about for next year. That's all I have for now.
Any questions from the board?
I just have a question with regard to fines in general. The language in the Loft law says that violation of any rule or regulation promulgated shall be punishable by a civil penalty determined by the law court not to exceed $17,500, which may be recovered by the municipality by a proceeding in any court of county jurisdiction. It's my recollection that we've never gone down. Is that correct?
My understanding was that at one point, the Loft board debt was actually referred to the law department, who assigned it to their outside collection attorneys, and that there was money collected on that debt, but that it was not the full amount of the money, and it was not a sufficient amount in terms of what the Loft board staff thought should have been collected. But I was not here, I'm getting this second hand.
Right.
But at some point in time, the debt was actually referred to outside collection lawyers.
And is it your opinion that the municipality would have the power to have those fines reduced to judgments?
Yes.
And is that something we've ever looked at?
I have not looked at it. I can't answer for predecessors. But what the outside collection lawyers do is they reduce that debt to judgments.
Right.
And then they negotiate on it.
Right.
So, and that's just from, I know that from working in ECB.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions for Ms. Paulson? Thank you. So we are now turning to vote on the master calendar cases. There are 18 cases on the master calendar. There are all failure to renew registration cases. For cases number 2, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 18, the owners renewed their registrations and paid their fees and late charges and applicable fines. So we are removing those dockets and voting on the other cases. The remaining number of cases are 8 that we're going to vote on today. I'll read them. Gold Tillery Realty LLC at 170 Tillery Street, Brooklyn, docket number FO 0746. Number 3, Thames Street Lofts LLC and Thames Holding LLC at 13-15 Thames Street, Brooklyn, docket number 4040 FO 0750. And number 4 is 20 Grand LLC at 20 Grand Avenue, Brooklyn, FO 0752. Number 5 is 305 School Street LLC at 305 through 307, 309, sorry, let me re-say it again. It's 307 School Street LLC at 307 through 309 School Street in Brooklyn. Docket number FO 0753. Number 6 is 99 Sutton LLC. The address is 99 Sutton Street, Brooklyn. Docket number FO 0754. Number 7 is 25 J Street LLC at 19 through 27 J Street in Brooklyn. Docket number FO 0755. Then number 12 is Bridge Associates of Soho, Inc. Address is 533 Greenwich Street in Manhattan. And the docket number is FO 0763. And finally, Peter Matera at 187 Duane Street in Manhattan, docket number FO 0779. Does anyone have any comments on these cases?
I just have a question, if you could go over the numbers again in just a second.
You want me to go over the numbers? You want me to read?
Well, just, as you know, we were informed by email that 4 of the cases had been pulled, and then we had 3 more that were
Oh, I see.
pulled
I
at
see.
that time.
So the numbers, you want me to quote the numbers that were pulled?
I prefer the numbers that we're voting on.
Okay. So we're voting, you want me to read?
You don't need to give the names.
Okay, gotcha. So we're voting on number 1, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, number 12, and 17. Does anyone have any comments on these cases?
I just have one comment. We were speaking about the level of fines earlier in the private session. And sometimes we've got fines that are multiples of the actual fee that's owed. So I would just ask the staff, when they go back to the rulemaking, to give some more thought about what a fair level of fine would be, perhaps having multiple levels.
Like tiers?
Tiers, yeah, rather. So I would just ask at that point that you guys would give some more thought.
We'll probably solicit some ideas from the board members.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. In the private meeting prior to this public meeting, the question of fines was discussed, and I made the observation that maintaining the current registration is important so that the board is clear who the owner of the building is, the 24/7 contact number. And there was some question about the larger issues, and I made the point then, and I want to reiterate it, that not being willing to register your building under this program is not some small issue. It deprives us of the contact. And I really am going to call out 3 of these. Thames Street Holding has not registered since 2012. So that fiscal 2012 would have ended in June of 2011, correct?
2012, yes.
Yeah.
It was started.
Right. July. So that's 6 years that Thames Street Loft LLC and Thames Holding LLC, 1315 Thames Street. Bridge Associates.
Can I just address that? I did actually get a call from an attorney.
I don't know if you're allowed to
For that.
answer anything in the public session.
Just the same. I did actually get a call from an attorney about that building. So, just so you know, they seem to be aware of it and want to do something. What? I don't know. So,
All right. Bridge Associates of Soho, 533 Greenwich. Last registered for fiscal year 2008. So that gives them over 10 years of not registering. And Peter Matera, I think, has done this before, not since 2014, 187 Duane. And in each of these cases, it just seems to me that given that the Loft Board is now part of the Department of Buildings, that there should be some way to brainstorm how to, whether it's for specific performance or some other issue, some way to go after these flagrant violators. I mean, I can understand, I've had property owners tell me that they don't pay their property taxes if they don't have the money because it's a really cheap loan, because the percentage fine is very low. We at the Loft Board are giving these people 6 months. If they come in, as half of them did when we finally noticed them, and I think all 8 of them were after the cure period, they pay up plus a $25 first month, $5 per month thereafter fine. We're creating a float for these guys. And I think the board should, A, look hard at not, as Elaine mentioned, at not excusing them if they go past the cure period. And I think the board should start bringing these cases in August or September rather than this late. And I understand there are manpower issues and everything else, but if I'm not going to register my building, then the notion that I'm going to legalize it seems highly far-fetched. So particularly these 3, I think the board should take a good hard look at whether there's something else that can be done to address this.
All right.
And I think specific performance might be.
All right. And then possibly law enforcement action.
Well, we could certainly refer that out, what, I would want to talk to them about what they're going to do with it first. Because
I don't want to give it away.
Right, so we could certainly at least talk to them about the debt itself and what to do with it.
Well, if a judge,
Enforcement of debt.
if a judge ordered me to register and pay my fees, would be held in contempt.
Yeah, we don't have,
But the court does.
the court does, yeah.
Right, and specific performance could put these kinds of cases before the court.
Right, but the law department has to be willing to, and again, they have these outside collection attorneys, and this is what they do. So we can explore that with them, but I just want to make sure that they're not going to settle for pennies on the dollar, because I don't know that that would really get us
Right.
where we want to be,
No, I understand.
so.
And certainly there are consequences for writers. Also, there are consequences for not registering, such as they wouldn't be able to do any work in the building and so on, or they get any kind of letter of objection from us.
Any legal.
Illegal. Thank you.
I just have a question. So, Chuck, you stated in one sense, now that the Loft Board is part of the building department, but I think legally that's actually not correct. My understanding is that it's an agency.
It's legally not correct, but we support the law.
I understand. So the chairman happens to work for the buildings department, as is the staff, but the board itself is an agency of the mayor and is independent and also independent of the buildings department, correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
How do you take it to be an agency of the mayor?
Is it not a mayorally?
It's an independent agency, but it's appointed by the mayor.
Okay, so then I guess,
It was moved out of the mayor's office to Department of Buildings.
well, it happens to live in the buildings department, but it's not legally attached to the buildings department.
For administrative,
Oh, yeah.
Administrative.
and for administrative reasons, it's managed by the Department of Buildings. This happens with other agencies and mayor's offices throughout the city, where a specific agency will be responsible for the administrative management of the day-to-day office functions.
Mr. Carver. Any further questions on these cases or comments? If not, then do we have a motion to accept these cases? Mr. Delaney, any second? Mr. Hernandez. Ms. Rivera? Please close.
Mr. Carver?
Yes?
Mr. Bauer?
Yes.
Mr. Booth?
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez?
Yes.
Mr. Delaney?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
7 in favor.
Thank you. Well, this is a very short meeting.
Before we close,
Yes.
I have one question. At our last meeting, we had a case that we asked members to affirm the Saladino case. Has that been adopted?
Yes, yes, everybody sent in their votes and it was adopted.
Thank you. This will conclude our December. Yes, Mr. Roach.
I'm sorry, squeeze in one for the good of the citizens. With the extreme cold that's come upon us, the fire department is seeing a great increase in the amount of carbon monoxide related emergencies within dwellings throughout the city, as well as carelessness with heating devices. Just like to squeeze this in, and maybe I'll get chastised for it at the end, but I do want to take the official opportunity to just say, please, please, if you do not have a carbon monoxide detector, a smoke detector in your residence, please stop at the hardware store on the way home and purchase one. It will save a life. And also, please be extremely careful with any type of heating devices that you may use to enhance the heat in your dwelling units at this point because of this extreme cold. Please, please do that. We beg you. We beg you to do that.
Thank you. Just for the record, nobody chastises the fire department.
It didn't necessarily have anything to do with the loft board, but it's obviously it's extremely cold. We don't see an end in sight, and you know, just want to take that opportunity to get that out there to the citizens.
Can you just, one of another minute, elaborate on what causes carbon monoxide? What type of heating? Something that would be...
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, please.
Okay. So any open flame or any type of a combustible process, typically what I'm referring to in the case here would be your boiler not being adjusted properly. Just last night, a building in the borough of the Bronx, I won't say where, multiple dwelling, my colleagues went in there on a routine inspection that had nothing to do with carbon monoxide. And as soon as they walked through the front door of the residence, their meters started going off. You may have seen us on the street. We carry a little yellow thing right on our chest. That's a carbon monoxide meter. By the time they got into the boiler room itself, it was reading 820 parts per million. Okay, that is considered lethal if you had been in that setting for more than 1 hour's time. So this is, in 9 times out of 10, it's going to be from a boiler that has not been adjusted properly. You also see the case where some people are using their stoves or their ovens. If they are gas stoves or gas ovens, they also, if not adjusted properly or not burning cleanly, can also produce carbon monoxide. So a detector will save your life. Chuck, did that pretty much answer it?
Yeah.
There's some other off-the-wall things, but as citizens, residents of the city, those are the things you're going to see in your homes.
Yeah, also the increased use of portable electric heaters unattended. I think in Queens, just last night, there was a massive, it was like 4 alarm fire.
If you're going to use an electric heater for auxiliary purposes to boost the heat, that's fine. Put the heater right in the center of the room that you want to heat. Keep it away from any draperies. Keep it away from any couches, chairs, furniture, obviously newspapers, anything that you might have. We recommend you put it right smack dab in the middle of your floor. And please make sure that it's a UL Laboratories approved device, so that if your pet knocks it over or if your child knocks it over, it will automatically shut off. Because otherwise it can come down, face down onto the carpeting, and you know, and under that condition, then the carpeting could catch fire. So please just be very, very careful.
I also want to, I'm sorry to piggyback, but it's just very serious. Thank you for bringing it up. That this is the owner's responsibility to install carbon monoxide detectors inside residences. So multiple dwellings. So if that's not the case, you have, you know, it's always a matter of life and death how to purchase it. But this is something you also want to bring to landlords if your building is missing any any such devices, both in the boiler rooms and also inside the apartments and common areas.
And please let us know, let the law board know if you don't have CO detectors, let us know.
Thank you. So, are there any other, thank you very much, Chuck, for bringing that up, and Mr. Roche for bringing it up and Chuck for elaborating. But any other comments before we close this meeting? This will conclude our December 28, 2017 Loft Board meeting. Our next public meeting will be held here at 22 Reed Street on the first floor on January 28, 2 p.m. Thank you very much. Have a very warm day. 18. What's that? 28. 18. January 18 at 2 p.m. Board members, please turn in your sign sheets. Thank you very much.